buttons. Okay, great. I can begin now. President Wireman,
Here.
Vice President Cresser,
Here.
Councilmember Delicio,
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson is not present. Councilmember Stevens,
Here.
Mayor Kaler, he is not present but will be returning. Manager DeFinis.
Here. Hope I'm off mute yet.
Thank you. Just want to start by commenting that sort of to indirectly paraphrase our solicitor that with today's unfortunate circumstances in the nation's capital, I think her comments regarding the importance of local government hold true more than ever. So I think it all starts right here.
Yep.
Thanks for everybody to be serving. All right. We had a copy of the agenda sent to us earlier. I have a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilor Delicio, second by Councilor Cresser. Any changes or additions?
Yes, John. In the wackiness of 2020 and finishing up the agenda, I may have sent Jamie several additions. So under new business and discussion items, there bid advertisement, which was actually in the packet but did not make the agenda. I just wanted you to know that there is an E, and it's the East Lincoln Avenue Bridge advertisement. All right. And we did make that alteration of that date. We did fix that.
Okay. Anyone else?
John, yes. Jay, I don't know if it belongs on the agenda. It was Jamie's Zoom meeting policies and procedures that we went over the last meeting. Should have been included.
Not sure if we wanted to include that.
It doesn't really matter. Okay, we'll keep it that way.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't hurt to formally have it listed. We can do that the regular meeting as an action item.
Good.
Thanks for catching that, Sal. All right, so with that one addition, had a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's been approved. Second item on our agenda is public input for this evening. Please state your name and address if you'd like to have any comments for council, questions.
I do see that Mr. Wilcox's hand is raised. If you can unmute yourself, Mr. Wilcox, you now have the floor.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. Just want to comment quick and thank council and the borough staff for making this meeting available through audio and video. And I had heard that they'll be posted to the website, which I think is good news. And hopefully that goes a long way in increasing the information available for all the residents, and maybe more people will start to get involved. So thank you again.
Good. All righty. Continue then under announcements, Mr. DeFinis.
Okay. Let's see, the next council meeting is January 20th. The regular meeting at 7:30. Tree pickup is scheduled for January 4th and 11th, but they'll be out throughout the week. If anybody has them out, they'll just be picking them up. The Hatfield Museum and Historical Society is scheduled to meet on the 26th of January via their Facebook Live presentation. HERC is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, the 27th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. Registration is required. And the Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for February 1st at 7 p.m. via Zoom and in person. We're having both options because of the amount of discussion items that we will have. Some of the presenters felt it was important for they have the availability to make it in person. But for those participating via Zoom, registration is required as well.
Alrighty, thanks. Anyone have any other dates?
Can I add that the continued hearing on Juarby, the code violation regarding the pool in the wrong place, is coming up January 21st. So in case anybody's interested in that date. We
Good,
might have
thank
a
you.
settlement by then, but I don't know.
I didn't give you any feedback since we presented that information.
I only presented it recently and I have not heard back yet, Jason. So we'll see.
Okay.
I think it's a good solution, you know, so hopefully they'll take it.
And Kate, that's via Zoom, and it's at 7 p.m. correct?
Correct. But we
Thank
have
you.
one more meeting before that, and I'm kind of hoping that
Right,
by the
right.
time, but at our next meeting, I'll be able to report where we are on the settlement discussion. And if you
Okay.
take action, you should be able to do that.
All right.
Alrighty. Let's continue with category 4, reports from our committee chairs and mayor. Anyone have information to share with council this evening?
I do not.
Turn to the police report then. Public safety. November through December 28th. Number of highlighted items.
Just put your clothes away and cut the pizza.
Like a number of calls, but appears everything was handled without too much incident.
Yeah, it was fairly quiet, so nothing too major. Just
Great.
not tomorrow.
That was New Year's. Lieutenant.
It's the usual. I mean, not a lot of places are open for people to go out to, so
So it was a better one this year than last year, I guess.
for the roadway issues, yes.
Any specific questions for the lieutenant? Easy start for the year, all right.
How you making out with the intersection at Orville and Calpath?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
So far, so good. So I think it's definitely was an improvement, that's for sure. So still a little odd driving through there and seeing it like that. Takes a little getting used to, but I think the motorists are doing well with it.
This isn't pertaining specifically to the police department, but do we know when the light sequencing and timing is going to be implemented? Traffic lights?
for that area or for all of Cowpath Road?
For Cowpeth.
Yeah, we've been waiting on that. I can check in and get back to you on that. Something that we keep asking, and actually I just stopped asking because we keep getting it to be later. So,
And selfish reason for raising the question. I know at Main and Broad, our left turn lanes, even with no one there, the arrows are still going on, I guess, whatever they changed.
mhm.
Is that going to stay that way till the system's up and running, Mike? Do you know?
It is. They
Okay.
they removed the sensors to add the new fiber optic capabilities. They had to remove one first before they add the second. And of course, now with the winter here, and I, hate to keep using the same excuse, but COVID pushed them back as well. So they were scheduled to have this done in the fall of 2020. They'll probably have it done in the spring of 21.
All righty.
I would bank on the late spring of 21, maybe early summer.
Okay. Any other questions for Lieutenant, Public Safety, or any other committee? I'll ask it under this section. I don't know where else to go with it. Since I'm not a social media guy, and I frankly forgot to look at our website just before the meeting, were the holiday decorations winners announced anywhere? Do we have that list for the contest?
I believe she announced them, but I do know that the winners were the Ertles on Blaine Avenue. And then it was the Ball Fatties on, I believe they live Wheatfield or Larkspur, the one in the Heather Meadows development. And then the Klaskys on the corner of West Vine and North Farview.
Right. Okay, terrific.
Shows your memory. Were you reading the screen, or was that something you recalled?
No, I just know them. I think because I just know them as people too. Not just the addresses. I know who they are.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Thanks. Yep, that's wonderful. Okay. Now, if I don't have anybody coming on, let's go to our manager's report.
So a couple things. I'll start at the top. The St. Mary's and St. Carilla's Coptic Church use under review. We've never received the final sewer inspection from them. If you recall, for them to connect to the township sewer was so far away, so we allowed them to connect to the borough sewer, even the properties in the township. So we're meeting with the engineer tomorrow, and I will have him add that list to his things to do under the engineer's responsibilities to try to close that out and get that out of the way. The Hatfield Auto Museum, there was nothing new. They've been talking for years about putting an additional building out back. They took down a building they said was demolished during one of the hurricanes. Happened to be a month when we had no hurricanes when it was demolished. I don't know how that happened, but nothing new had transpired at the Hatfield Auto Museum until New Year's Eve, when they had a large gathering. And several people called the borough and said, you should do something about it. I said, we actually can't do anything about it unless I have a police report or some type of information of, a complaint, an official complaint. So some people said they would lodge official complaints and about them holding what they they phrased as super spreader events during a lockdown. So I wanted to make you aware of that in case you hear that as you're out and about in the borough. The 122.5 Talmenson Avenue, they were waiting for the easement recording so they can get their demolition permit, and they have basically a non-conforming use there, but I believe, Kate, they would have to build in the footprint that was there. Is that correct?
Sorry. They believe that they can build on the lot without needing variances. So I had originally said, if you want to preserve your nonconformities, you have to show the dimensions on a plan so that we know after they take the house down where it was. So now they're telling me that they don't think they need that help. They still have to present a plan. So we're waiting on that. And we're also waiting on that driveway easement recording.
Right.
To be fair, the recorder's office is having a hard time with this pandemic. The real estate market's very hot. Lots of things are getting recorded, but they're having a really hard time keeping up with it. So it doesn't surprise me that it's taken a long time, but they should have had it by now. So I keep reaching out to the lawyer to ask him where it is.
So that's where we are on that property. As you know, the Salters is trying to get their renovations done so that they can have their grand opening. The Edinburgh Square subdivision, they were issued grading permits and they were allowed to do some work on the property related to utilities. And here they ran into a little snag, and we're going to discuss that again tomorrow with the engineer of putting in the water lines. The water lines were not actually installed as per the plan, so now they may have to have some water lines moved at their expense to capture what was actually done on the plan. They actually did that work without a permit, the developer and North Penn Water. And because of that, the borough didn't know at the time they were out there doing that. And when we found out, they had actually done the work. And then when they secured a permit to do the grading and then to do some other stormwater work on there, and then wanted to put in some sewer lines, that's when it was discovered that the water lines were in the wrong spot. And now we're trying to work it out. The engineer, like I said, will be here tomorrow, and we'll have a discussion on how we're going to resolve that. Bennett's Court, preliminary plan has been delivered to the borough. You'll probably receive it before the next meeting. It's under review by all the professionals at this time. The 43 Garfield land development, a preliminary plan has been received by the borough, and it's just been sent out recently for all the consultants to review, and you'll be receiving that package as well, probably by the next meeting. 127 Penn Avenue.
The 43 Garfield, that was the one house property subdividing into two?
Subdividing into 2 duplexes, 4 units.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. 127 Penn, a preliminary plan is in development. We had actually met with that group of people, with all the consultants. We had the consultants here one day to meet with the 43 and the 27 people as well. SEPTA property, the licensing agreement is in progress. I've been talking with Dave Doler at SEPTA. Moving on to utilities. Staff continues to monitor the electric and sewer past dues and send out notices as reminders. The new billing process encountered one problem recently, was resolved remotely. I did discover, or David did discover recently, that didn't make the printing of this report, there were some problems with some sewer bills, and David contacted and worked it out with North Penn Water. Some of the properties are vacant, and then some of the meters have failed on their side as well. So they're addressing those issues of the failed meters on the water side that account for the sewer collections. We're still working through some issues with the customer portal. We had a meeting, a call yesterday with AMP on the AMI installation, and they're reviewing all those complications or updates that they can make that customer portal more user friendly. As stated earlier, the East Lincoln Avenue Bridge replacement is in your packet, the bid advertisement for that. The ADA ramp invitation to bid that was posted is in your packet. The roadway resurfacing bid is scheduled to be advertised in February. That tentative bid schedule is in your packet as well. And stormwater projects will be scheduled around public works workload. The stormwater projects that they'll be taking care of this year. PMEA website is up and live, and their website is there for you to click on and see some up-to-date information. Speaking about AMP, AMP, the rice peaking project, we're communicating back and forth with the final design. There was some input from utility engineers on the final design, and they're working through those issues with AMP and Power Secure. Carr and Duff has completed all the upgrades to that system. We're just waiting for that fiber optic to be done as well, because we'll need that to communicate with that piece of equipment. The AMI update, as I stated yesterday, we were on the phone with AMP yesterday. The AMP is working with NextGen to schedule the installation of the final meters. What's being held up is the 16 polyphase meters, demand meters that were still that had to be sent back to the manufacturer for recalibration. During AMP's testing of them, they weren't picking up what the borough's needs were. So those 16 basically industrial type units that we have are what's holding up the installation. As I said earlier, HERC is scheduled to meet the end of the month. Just an update on some conferences. The next era Public Power Summit, usually scheduled in February, we've been notified it will be virtual. Details will be released here in the next. Actually, I got a imprint or a flyer in the mail yesterday, and I'll get that out to everybody. The APPA legislative rally will be virtual as well. Details to that will also be released hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And I guess that's a good thing right now. Just a couple items of interest. During the PSAB virtual conference, the borough was an honoree for our social media postings, use of social media, the website, and our newsletter. So those were received, and those were also included in your packet. And then finally, the CoStar's proposal for the 2021 Public Works vehicle, and I did contact with Delaware Valley Regional Finance Authority on financing about that for that vehicle, and they have that available for us as well. So we'll have several opportunities to look at financing for that vehicle. As a matter of fact, the Delaware Valley Regional Finance allows you to finance it up to 10 years. So if you want. So we'll be moving forward with that. One last thing I wanted to just bring you up to speed on was not in my my report. I did meet with all of staff. Jamie and I met with everyone on Monday when we all came back to work, and I thanked all of staff for all their accomplishments during 2020 with everything they had to deal with and the way they had to perform their duties. As you know, none of our employees have contracted the COVID-19 virus, and that's because of their due diligence, the way they work around here. They separate themselves from each other, and they're cognizant of that when they're at home as well. Even though several of them have had brushes of family members and colleagues that they're with in the public that have been contracted the virus. So they've done a great job with that. And we also went over, again, reiterated and reinforced the COVID policies and guidelines, as well as our employee handbook and guidelines. We do that every year in the beginning, and then we do it again mid-year so that everybody is cognizant of the policies that we have and we want to operate under. One of the things I did share with them, I shared something that I had heard actually during the Monday night football game, and or I'm sorry, the Sunday night football game, and it was your inner ape is what it was referred to, and I thought of it as odd for someone to refer to it as that. I don't know if anybody watched the Sunday night football game; it wasn't really that entertaining, but your inner ape refers to as your attitude, your preparation, and your effort. And if you come to work with the right attitude and you prepare, and our staff does, they do the best job they can in preparing everything that has to be done and put forth the best effort that they can, the results will show. And I can say that the results have shown in this municipality when it comes to achieving the goals that we set forth for them, especially with the snowstorm that we were presented with right around the holidays. I think the guys did a great job. But beyond that, they do that type of work every day. So I wanted to share that with them, and I did. And then the last thing I failed to share with them, and I'm going to do that in an email, is something that I recalled after I left. I wanted to share. And it's something my father used to say to my brother and sisters and I, and it was, don't try to outwit your common sense, and that's what our guys do. They take a common sense approach. That's what our staff does. They take that common sense approach to things, and they don't try to think too far outside the common sense approach to things. Although when they're presented with complex problems and situations, they go above and beyond to try to resolve them, and they've done a great job with that. And with that, my last comment is, again, thank you to Borough Council and Mayor Kaler for your confidence and your trust and everything that you provide us to get our jobs done. Thank you.
Yeah. Great start meeting with staff to kick off the year, and thank you for your leadership. All starts right there in the beginning, and we'll continue to try to provide you everything we can to get those jobs done.
Thank you.
I think the number on the new vehicle purchase at 65 was exactly what we were anticipating. I see it is a 21 vehicle, so that's nice.
Yes.
And yeah, our financing in the budget was based on that 65 number, so we should be in good shape there, especially if there's a way to roll it into Del Val, and we like that proposal. So,
Is that diesel or gas?
That is a gas vehicle.
yep.
Mike,
Yes,
excuse me,
sir.
John.
Go ahead.
Mike, on that
Yes, sir.
122 and a half,
Yes, sir.
do you know who's the builder is or the people who are in that house right now? Because I'll tell
There's-
you why. Last week, you know, the right of way, the Borough right of way road that they use
Yes.
to get back there. One car came out, was flying on that road. And you know, the Christophers, their driveway butts right next to it. And the wife's white SUV nearly got creamed. In other words, she was coming out slowly, and this guy, I don't know who he is, came out of that right of way. He was speeding. I mean, you
Okay.
can tell, maybe you can we will tell them people that there's somebody lives on the corner there. They can get hit.
Well, there's no one back there living there.
There's a car that came from that direction.
All right. Well, there's no one back there living there. There may have been someone back there looking around or something, but they don't have any. They don't have a demolition permit, and they don't have a construction permit, so they really can't do any work back there. Did the Christophers tell you that someone came racing out of there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the wife uses that white SUV, and most of the time she's has their grandson, no, her nephew. She minds her nephew. So he was also in that SUV.
I think their name is Rita and Nagat Isaac. But I understood they weren't living there, Mike. Am I right about
No,
that?
no one lives there.
Okay.
There's no utilities in the property.
Right, because their plan was to knock down what's there and build a new house and sell it, I believe.
Right.
Right.
And the easement agreement that I was talking about earlier is an easement agreement over our land. They did pay to move a electric pole for us. But we own that strip, that driveway. We, the borough, own that driveway. And so we're allowing them to use it.
The owners of 122 and a half have an easement and a right to use it.
Correct.
The Christophers do not.
But I can understand, Mike, that, you know, people would walk on it because it is borough land. People would.
Right.
Walk on it. So I can address the attorney and ask him to make sure that people are more careful about their neighbors. That's not a hard thing. I'll do that.
And the existing fence is in the correct location on the
Yes.
property there. Okay. I have a question, go back to Edinburgh Square.
Yes.
Has Mr. Bowers been in touch with the borough office or any other neighbors?
Mr. Bowers was in touch in the beginning when we had some issues. We did our best to resolve them, and he hasn't been in touch since. As a matter of fact, I saw Steve right before Christmas, and said, "How are things going?" He said, "Okay."
Okay, thank you. Just a general question, you don't have to get specific. Is there any update on the 7-Eleven property?
No.
Okay,
I've called them. If I could call them 10 times at least, and no one gets back to me. 7-Eleven.
utilities are off?
They
They pay
no,
in the
they're not.
bill? Okay. That's all I had. Anybody else? Not, we'll go forward to new business category. Included in
Hold on,
the,
I do have something, John. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Jamie has something. I'm sorry, I was supposed to. Jamie has something to bring up to council.
Thank you. So moving forward during this section of the council meeting, I'm going to also be providing you an assistant manager's report that will be included in your packets. But for tonight, I just have a couple items that I wanted to highlight. I wanted to let you guys know that I have now become the president of the Montgomery County Consortium of Communities and Accident Management Group in Montgomery County. I want to let you guys know we're looking forward to having a great year, 2021, a lot of good meetings, and hopefully can bring back a lot of good information to be able to share with you guys in collaboration with other municipalities. I wanted to let you know, secondly, that the Borough website is under development right now. We're going to have a look at that in about 2-week time frame. So if you have any additions or anything you see on a website that you think we should have on ours, reach out to myself or Lindsay, and we'd be happy to include that on our website. Again, it's going to be a work in progress right now, but hopefully we'll have that up and running. Hopefully, I want to say by the end of February. Lastly, I just wanted to read 2 letters that the borough received in the mail and from PSA Big. I'll highlight them. Dear award recipient, congratulations on your exceptional achievement in local government excellence, and please find the enclosed award. PSAB was hoping to present this award to you at one of our conferences in 2020, yet the pandemic adversely impacted this long-standing tradition. We sincerely appreciate your commitment to borough government and hope you will proudly display this award for all of your colleagues to see. Hatfield Borough this year has received the Cecile K. Labarite Award, and that goes to Council Member John Kresser, and that is for his 10-year commitment to serving Hatfield Borough. So we appreciate Councilmember Kresser's commitment to serving the community, and I wanted to let everybody know on council and Councilmember Kresser that he received this award, and unfortunately, we couldn't give it to you at PSAB, but we're happy to have you on board. And secondly, the same letter came, and this is for the Carol Samble Award, and this is presented to President John Wireman for his outstanding commitment to local government for over 25 years. So thank you to President Wireman and Councilmember Kresser for your commitment to the borough, and I will make sure that you guys get your award. So thank you.
thank you. Very nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, please pass along our congratulations to yourself, Jamie, and then also particularly for Lindsay on the Borough News recognitions for those 3 things, especially the newsletter, I'm sure. That was great.
I will tell her tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Good. And congratulations to you, I guess, on the president position if nobody else wanted it.
No, you just move up, so it just
Okay.
happened to be my year. But
Good.
thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it. We have some good stuff coming down the pipeline this year, a lot of good meetings, so looking forward to working with some other municipalities. So be a good year.
Great.
They do a
Okay.
lot of hard work, that group from the consortium, that group, that executive group. That's a real committed group of municipal managers and assistant managers there. They do a great job.
When do I get my shot? Where
Uh,
do I sign up?
Right after me, John.
Okay.
well, you guys will be in the 1B category
Yeah.
because of your age, right?
Yes.
So I believe 1B is coming here soon. So we'll
Is
keep
that
you
better
up.
than, is that better than 2B or not to be?
Yeah, exactly. So the 1A group, I guess, is already done or in the process. And then I believe it's, I thought it was going to be here in January sometime. We would receive the information of when the 1B would be able to start being vaccinated. And I believe what's going to hold that up is having it. Do they have enough of it for that category? So
Yeah.
that's what they want to do. They want to make sure they have enough for the category.
Okay. Well, I'm not one of the ones opting out, that's for sure. Okay, new business, 6A. In the envelopes that were delivered, everyone should have gotten the blue binder with the calendar and all the information in there, including the budget. Always handy to have that around. Item B is the auditor's accounting firm proposal for some special work, and then also to enter into a longer term contract to get some better pricing for 5 years going forward. Mike, you want to comment on that?
Yes, and if you look at the packet, I gave Jamie 2 copies of the extra work and to put in the packet so that the first item is just copied there twice. So that's the work that Chris Herr had actually talked about with council when they were going over the financial report back in December. So they said they would come up with a cost for helping us get those beginning numbers, the closeout numbers for 2020, which would set our beginning numbers for 2021. And their proposal to do that is $10,000 plus any extra costs that might run over for postage or things like that. So that they're not too far out of the ballpark on what that type of work would take. I did have a discussion with John about this, and we're also gonna look at during the year. For those of you who don't recall, we used to have a gentleman come in quarterly and sort of keep us on track with this. And that person actually is no longer available to us. So that's why this sort of has fallen into this category now. So this would put us back on track, and then hopefully keep us on target for when we complete our 2021 year, that we would not have to sustain a cost like this the following year. So that's what this proposal is for what we would call the terms and objectives of the that were explained during the audit or the financial report back in December, and that was regarding to the 2019 financial report, but it's going to help us going forward with the 2020 financial report that they want to take up again as well on our behalf. So the second proposal is for a long-term engagement of the borough, and it sets the parameters of what they would do for us, and what they have is basically what they have been doing for us, and it's basically the same work that they've done in the past, but with a commitment from the borough, and I believe it's through 26. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and look, through 24. So they would do the 2020, 21, 22, 23, and 24 year financial reports and they would charge us $22,000 to start, and then increase it $500 a year, ending at $24,000 in 2024. So that's their proposal for this work, and it's not out of line with what they've done in the past. It has increased from what their beginning costs were. They were at about $17,000 when we started with them for the cost. So it's been increasing since.
So Mike, I have a question I think you should raise with them. I think it's a good idea to have somebody help Diane work with the books and make sure everything's in the right bucket and done correctly. And of course, we're required to get the audit done every year for DCED and make sure we publish the results of that. I'm just surprised that they can do both the work and then audit the work. Is that a problem for them?
And that's what they're saying, Kate. The work that they're proposing is not actually the day-to-day accounting work.
Okay.
All right. That's what staff does. That's what Diane does. That's what, I do with Diane. All right. In checking the balances and things like that. So, and then of course, also looking at fund balances now weekly, not monthly. Okay. So there are things that we do here. All right. They're coming in and making sure that those buckets are balancing the way they should at the end of the year, so that when we do go to the audit, it's not trying to do that at that time.
Okay, but they're aware of that question and they don't feel it's a conflict.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think a big part of that was booking the journal entries correctly to make sure that, as we said, the ending number and the beginning numbers are where they should be so that we're off on the right foot. So that's not really, as Mike just pointed out, doing the work. It's just getting the journal entries onto the agendas correctly. So, but yeah, we had that discussion with them, and they know about it too. I think he even talked about it during his presentation. So,
He did.
yeah.
Okay.
All righty. Anybody else have questions on those? I think we had, I was just looking, we actually have 25,000 budgeted for this year, which gives us a foot up on what those additional costs will be, since the maximum contract price in 2024 is just 24,000. So yeah, I think we're better shape. Go ahead and engage them on the long-term basis. Okay, no other questions. We'll go update on Public Works Director, item C.
So we have had the job posted. We've had several calls, people inquiring about the position, and received two applications and resumes. One is very qualified. One would need a lot of time to catch up. So we're going to start interviews next week, Jamie and I, and we can report back to council of our findings.
I think that's the route we want to go in terms of having Mike, Jamie, and even Fred, if he would sit in to make sure that the interviewee has questions that Fred would be able to address. And then, as Mike said, report back to Budget, Finance, and Labor initially. Jason and I'd be able to answer anything on behalf of council, and then have recommendation for council on what we believe the correct person would be. Anybody have a question on that?
I do not.
Item D was the letter from the county for the valuation on the tax assessments. Pretty close to the same figures, 136 million. And let's see what the county millage is. The tax bills, what, go out around February 1st?
March 1st.
Not till March 1st, okay. Item E was the bid advertisement for the East Lincoln Avenue Bridge project. Time frame here. When you're also meeting for the ramps, is when's that? That's tomorrow?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we have a pre-bid meeting.
Expect anybody to actually attend in person?
The only people we know that are attending in person is the engineer group, because we have a meeting with them afterwards. We have our quarterly meeting with them, and it's our kickoff meeting for the year as well. There's a Zoom connection also for the pre-bid meeting.
Right. Okay. So is the Lincoln Avenue under a general contract? And they'll have some subs, or how's that?
There'll be one general contractor and if he does have subs, they have to be approved by the engineer in the borough.
Right. Okay. Anything else? There's no old business listed, so next page into our reports.
The only thing missing from the reports, John, is the cash account, which did not actually come in. Diane did not get all those statements in. Actually,
Right.
They were in my folder when I came in today. So she didn't have a chance to get those done.
Okay.
So the paperwork's missing, but the money isn't.
Right.
Good news.
So John, we must have hidden it well from everybody.
Is there a lot of project bills that should be in 2020 that are still outstanding? Like on the behind the meter and anything regarding AMI?
As a matter of fact, there was a utilities engineer bill that came in today, and it had broken out some some behind the meter work, and also it had some escrow work for some of the projects, some of the developments. I know there was a McMahon and Associates bill for some work that was done in 2020 that Diane has to code for that, and that's why I want you to see the proposal for Mally before I sign off on it tomorrow and get him. I want her to get all that coded back to 2020 so that when they come in, they know what was in 2020, what was billed for 2020.
Right. The contractor work for Lincoln Avenue Bridge, it was done, all those bills were in?
That's what I think the last bill for McMahon was for, yes.
Okay. But the big contractor bills,
The only thing we would have had big for 2020 on Lincoln Avenue would have been the electric work that was done by Danella. And Jamie, did we pay that in December?
I believe that Diane was cutting a check, but it wasn't going to go out until after the first of the year.
Okay,
But I think because I believe John has to sign it. So if he didn't sign it, then it didn't go out because it was the 67,000 or something. So that'd be something John would have to sign and not reoccurring.
okay,
okay. Yeah, but that'll be in 2020's numbers. So
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Yep. And we see the EIT and LST numbers for November, December came in fairly strong, so that we ended up at 4.25 versus 440 budget, which is why we only budgeted 400 for this year in EIT collection. See how that first couple months hold up this year. Any questions on any of the other reports? Public Works. Thank Matt for keeping up and showing the amount of activity going through there and what he did for the year. I think that's helpful. All right, I don't hear anything. No action items. Going once, going twice. Anything, folks?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
All right. Have executive session.
Brief executive session. On my side, brief.
Good.
Okay, I'm going to say goodnight. Happy New Year, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
Jane.
you
Thank
too.
you.
Happy New Year, Jane.
you.
All right, Jay.
Oh, please.
Very good.
We clear, Jamie?